I did not know that a single date, a harmless smile, and a folded piece of paper would become the beginning of the biggest mistake of my life. If I had ignored what happened that night, maybe my life would still be intact. This isn't a story about love, it's a story about desire. And the consequences that follow it. Welcome to desire. Every desire leaves a record. But some records refuse to be buried. Before we dive in, if you're just joining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. As I strolled out of the cafe with Charlotte, I couldn't help but feel that it had been a truly unforgettable day, one that surpassed the typical first date experience. There was no awkward silence. Our conversation flowed like a seamless question and answer session. The connection between us was visible. We felt like we had known each other for ages. Within me, I knew that whenever I decided to pop the question, the answer would be yes. During the date, we talked about school politics, state politics, religion, culture, and everything else left to discuss. Charlotte's views were articulate, confident, and impressive. I made sure to leave an impression as well. I hailed a cab as we stepped outside the cafe. Just as I was about to get into the waiting car, a gentle tap on my shoulder caught me off guard. I turned to see a waiter behind me. I quickly checked mentally. I had paid my bills, we hadn't left our phones, everything was in order. "Excuse me, sir," she muttered. "Yes, can I help you?" I asked, staring at her intently. "Sorry, sir, someone said I should give this to you," she replied, handing over a piece of paper with number 1500. From the low tone of her voice, I could tell she didn't want Charlotte to hear. "But what for?" I asked, collecting the money and notes. "I don't know. She just said I should give it to you," she replied, and hurried back inside the cafe. I glanced at the note. There was a phone number with "call me" written beneath it. Below that, another line read, "Tell her you forgot your change if she starts asking questions." I scanned the cafe, but couldn't get a clear view. "Olga, if you knew they go again, tell your wife to come down, make a come out from here." The cab driver yelled. I tucked the note and money into my pocket and jumped into the taxi. "Olga, I beg no vex," I apologized. The driver nodded and eased the car into motion. "Where are you going?" he asked, changing gears. "Drop my wife at Okeke Hostel, then me at Hilltop Gate," I replied. The moment I said wife, Charlotte's expression transformed. She looked up from her phone, face lighting up with a radiant smile and charming dimples, as she playfully smacked my shoulder. I guess she was overwhelmed that I called her my wife on our first date, the driver teased. The cab ride was full of playful chatter, and Charlotte's smiles never faded. I kept my attention on the note in my pocket, resisting the urge to check the number. There would be time for that later. At home, 5 minutes later, we arrived at Charlotte's hostel. I held the door for her. She stepped out, still flashing that beautiful smile. "Thanks for coming out with me," I said happily as we walked a short distance. "The pleasure is mine." "Thanks for the fun," she replied. "I'm honored," I muttered. She spun around and hugged me hard. Not the casual hug from earlier, but the kind where a girl presses herself against you, making you feel like she might rip your heart out. Yes, that was the kind of hug she gave me. I thought I enjoyed myself so much, she whispered into my ear. The jolt of excitement shot down my spine. My lower half responded eagerly to her seductive whisper. I discreetly slipped my hand into my pocket to hide the unmistakable evidence of my arousal. I watched her walk to her hostel, swaying as if she had no waistline. Charlotte didn't try to attract attention, yet all eyes seemed to be on her. As she reached the entrance, she spun around, caught me staring, flashed a flirtatious smile, blew me a kiss, and sashayed inside. "Olga, your phone day ring," the driver said, pulling me back to reality. It was Charlotte calling. I picked up, leaning on the car. "If you don't leave my hostel now, I call security," she muttered, giggling. "Provided I still see you when they arrive, no problem," I replied. "Mr. Loverboy. No, so I don't shack your head reach." She laughed. "Are you just realizing that? Your love they shack me like Ogogoro." I shot back, and she laughed again. "Oh yeah, you don't do. Start going and let me know when you get home, okay?" "Sure, my love," I said before ending the call. I got into the front seat of the cab, apologized to the driver for keeping him waiting, and he said he enjoyed witnessing the romance between Charlotte and me. As he drove, I remembered the money and note. I carefully took them out, gave the money to the driver, and folded the note back into my pocket. He smiled, showering me with praise. When we reached Hilltop Gate, I alighted, collected his number, and promised to call anytime I needed a cab. As I stood there at Hilltop Gate, the night breeze brushing against my face, my fingers tightened around the folded note still hidden in my pocket. I hesitated. Calling that number could mean nothing. Or it could mean everything. Just as I was about to walk away, my phone vibrated softly in my palm. Unknown number. My heart skipped. I stared at the screen, knowing deep down that whatever waited on the other end of that call would change my life forever. Find out in the next episode of Desire Files.